Hello. I promise I'm not peeing. It's my Brita filter. Here, hold on. It's an unsettling noise. I'm sorry. Hello. How are you today? I'm well. I'm hanging out. I've had a good day. I took a shower and I was very proud of myself for getting out before 7 o'clock. So that's exciting. I was going to share today, so I like to say something cool that happened in the day at the beginning of stream. So I have a student that I teach and she's a cool student. She's the daughter of the boss of my school. So at first I thought it was a lot of pressure, but then I got to know her and I realized that it's not a lot of pressure. And she has like this really big passion for stickers. And I have a couple of sticker books that she really likes getting stickers from, and so we did like a sticker drug deal today. And I thought it was really funny because she like brought in this big Ziploc bag that's just like slightly overflowing with stickers, and she's like, "Teacher, I brought everything that I have for you." And I'm like, "Oh, it's very nice. Thank you so much. Okay, great." And so I got some really cool stickers today, actually, in exchange for what I thought were not as good of stickers, but I will show you what I got. So I got some really cool Sanrio stickers that have like, I don't know if you can see them very well, but they're two characters. They're called like Chromie and My Melody, and they're like different. They're doing different things. Illicit sticker trade in Korea. Yeah, I know, right? I got some really cool. They're like watercolor Alice in Wonderland themed, which I think are really neat. Sorry, I know it's not focusing in a way that makes them look cool, but I think the bunny, it's on the other side. The bunny here looks really cool, but also like, I don't know, they're just really neat looking. I got some banana milk stickers that like have a banana on it, and then banana milk is really popular. Fun fact, banana milk is the most popular flavor of milk in Korea. And then she just gave me these ones for free, which are just like traditional Korean hanbok stickers, which I think are cool. So I'll probably use those for Chuseok next year, which is like Korean Thanksgiving or just different Korean holidays. Maybe I'll use them to send some stuff around around now, which is about to be Lunar New Year in a week. So I'm excited for that. Not only because it's a cool holiday, but also because I get a couple days off. So that's really nice. Because I mean, I got the week off for Christmas, but at the same time, it's not like an official thing. It's more of a, well, everyone else has the day off because it's like it's a school holiday. So it just kind of works like that. But anyway. Fantastic. Okay, but yeah, I got some good stickers today. I'm so excited. ASMR water pouring stream. Does it sound satisfying? I honestly don't know. I listen to ASMR sometimes, but not often enough to where I would be like, wow, that was a satisfying pour. Oh, really? Okay, good to know. You know what? If you want, maybe we can do an ASMR stream where I like pour water or do something like that, like Shakespearean ASMR reading. No, I hate those. I hate the role play ones. Because, like, I'll see those pop up sometimes where they're, like, what is it? Where they just, like, role play and they'll be like, you're at the doctor, blah, 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 blah. We're almost to the karaoke stream, actually, Lorenzo. I told you, if we make the 50 follower mark, I'll do a karaoke live stream. So we're really close. We're 4 followers away. So, you know, that is... yeah, that's gonna happen soon. Essentially, well, I wanna be verified as 50 through Twitch, and then once they verify to me that I have 50, and I get the email where they're like, "Hey, let's take Twitch to the next level," I'll do the karaoke stream. Deal. It'll be a karaoke fiesta. Okay, here, hold on. I want to check on one more thing before we get started. Deal. Good. I know, we've been waiting on karaoke stream for a while, but I think we're on a good track to where it's about to happen soon. I think we are on track to get karaoke stream to happen within the next maybe 2 weeks. I think it could happen. I think it definitely could happen. You know? We'll see. Hold on, I want to check on one thing before we get started officially, and then we can get started. If you want, feel free to say something nice about the loading screen. Okay. Okay, we're sorted. We are all ready to go. All right, let's get into this. Look at the incredible loading screen. I know, right, Lorenzo? Isn't it so good? Isn't it such a masterpiece? Isn't it such a great artistic creation descending from the heavens? Oh, I agree. Wow, it's just so good. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we're starting with scene 3. We didn't finish Act 4 yesterday. RIP. It was a little too long, and I was feeling a little too tired yesterday. But I'm feeling a lot more refreshed today, so I think we're gonna get through Act 4 and Act 5 today. I have planned for that to happen, so it'll be a little bit of a longer stream today. Wow, it'll be like I'm actually a streamer instead of just bailing after the first hour. So yeah, let's do it, man. Do this. Are you strapped in? Are you buckled in? Are you ready to go? Full gear into this Macbeth reading. Okay, let's do it. Scene 3, England, outside the palace of King Edward the Confessor. Who the hell is King Edward the Confessor? Whoa, 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 whoa. This has never been covered. King Edward has never come up. So maybe this is... Oh, this is where Macduff is. So Macduff is in England. Oh, King Edward. Wasn't King Edward like an infant? King Edward, the Confessor of England. Wasn't he like really like a small boy whenever he became king? He was one of the last Anglo-Saxon kings between the years of 1042 and 1066. Whoa, he was king for 24 years. You know, not like when, you know, Lizzie, rest in peace. Okay, so I guess not. Edward was not a small boy whenever he became king. He was like 40. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of a different Edward. I'm a sleepy gentleman, so I might have to bail halfway. That's fine, Lorenzo, no worries. It's okay. Okay, so yeah, King Edward was not a child. I don't remember who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of like Queen Mary's son or something like that. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with the royals. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Malcolm and Macduff come in. They're there. They're in England. We got it. And Malcolm says, "Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty." So they are about to cry. I don't think that they're gonna cry. I don't think they know about Lady Macduff and their son are dead. So many Edwards, right, Looper? King Joffrey? Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't remember. There was somebody who was an infant. I don't remember who it was, though. It was somewhere in, like, the crazy... It was, like, between Mary and Victoria. Because I know... Or, like, maybe before Mary. I don't know. Anyway. So, They're about to go be sad under a tree. And Macduff said, "Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men bestride our downfall and birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as it felt with Scotland and yelled out like syllable of dolor." Malcolm, what I believe I'll wail, what no believe, and what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so perchance. This tyrant whose sole name blisters our tongues was once thought honest. You have loved him well, he hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may discern of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry God. Okay, so Malcolm's just like, I can't believe we thought Macbeth was cool. I can't believe we were friends with this dude. Eric Tudor, man, I don't know. I don't know who the Edward is, man. Edward Cullen. It was Edward Cullen. And he reigns forever and ever and shall sparkle throughout the forest until the end of time. With Bella. Anyway, so Malcolm's just like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with Macbeth, but he's bloodthirsty and it's disgusting and I don't know what's going to happen, but at least he hasn't touched you yet and at least he hasn't killed you yet, but like, watch your back. Macduff says, I am not treacherous. He's like, I don't really think Lorenzo! I don't have a team. I don't really care that much, to be honest. I didn't read the books. I saw the movies though, and they were really terrible. So I appreciate good, terrible art when it comes to cinematography. No, so Macduff is just like, I haven't done anything. I don't know why he would suspect me of anything and why he would kill me. So like, I have no reason to suspect that he will. And Malcolm says, but Macbeth is, saying that Macbeth is treacherous. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so. So Malcolm's like, look, there are still angels and there's still a God. We can still believe that there is a chance for you. However, he has killed some angels that we had. Rest in peace, Banquo. Rest in peace, Duncan. Rest in peace, Madam Macduff. Rest in peace, baby Macduff. Macduff says, I have lost my hopes. So Macduff thinks he's a goner. And Malcolm says, perchance, even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left your wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave taking? I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think. Oh my God, I just thought about Ross. If you weren't here yesterday, Ross is Lady Macduff's cousin. And he was just like, hey, pretty cousin. If you need company, let me know. I totally made that up, by the way. Like, it was a joke yesterday, but I just thought all of Ross's hopes and dreams of ever marrying Lady Macduff are just canceled. Robert Pattinson is amazing despite the movies. Yes, Robert Pattinson is a pretty good actor, I will say. He has been, I've seen some movies that he was in, and he does a good job. Where he isn't sparkling, but man, does his light shine. Let me say. That was cheesy even for me. I'm gonna leave this off. Okay. I'm not a child. I won't spill my water. Anyway, Macduff. So yeah, Malcolm's just like, man, you left your wife and your child because you were so... Taylor Lautner's even better. I know. Have you seen Shark Boy and Lava Girl? That was art. Anyway, okay. Yeah, so Malcolm is just like, you left your wife and your kids just to protect them, to make sure that, you know, blah, 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 blah. And Macduff says, bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy basis, sure, for goodness dares not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs. The title is afeard. Fare thee well, lord. I will not be the villain that thou thinkest for the whole space that's in a tyrant's grasp, in the rich east to boot. So he's just like, the country's going to bleed and it's going to suffer because of this tyrant that's ruling over Scotland, of course. And Malcolm says, be not offended. I speak not as an absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added in her wounds. I think, withal, there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here from gracious England have I offer of goodly thousands. But, for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer in more sundry ways than ever, by him that shall succeed. So, essentially, Malcolm is like, this is at the expense of the country, it's not at the expense of him. So, I mean, he continues to move up and he continues to become this man of power. And the country has no decision but to suffer, essentially. Like, it's just gonna fall. There's gonna be a fall. And Macbeth is gonna stay there until there's a challenge, I guess, or until, like, any kind of force takes him down. Macduff says, what should he be? And Malcolm says, it is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb being compared with my confineless harms. So, Malcolm's saying, but we can't openly kill him. He can't be openly killed, because the thing is, if somebody kills him, then he's going to be seen as the innocent one. People are going to be like, oh, poor Macbeth, he was slain, my innocent little lamb. And Macduff said, not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth. That's self-explanatory. And Malcolm says, I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that is a name. But there's no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust, and my desire all continent impediments would overbear that did oppose my will. Better, Macbeth, than such an one to reign. So Malcolm is essentially saying, look, you could give me all the hoes in the world, and they still would not be able to satiate the desire I have to kill Macbeth. Like, it does not matter what there is. It doesn't matter how many distractions you give me. I want to kill Macbeth no matter what. Murder before maidens. Am I right, fellas? I think I'm right. I think I'm right on this one. I'm going to just say. So Macduff says, boundless impertinence in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne, and fall of many kings. But fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold. The time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you, to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined. And so Macduff is just like, oh, but we have a lot of ladies, so like if you really wanted to distract yourself, you could. We have the option. Malcolm says, with this, there grows in most ill-composed affection, which is with a staunchless avarice, that were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels in the other's house, and for my more having would be as a sauce to make my hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth. Death throws before hoes. Yes! Thank you, Lorenzo. Macduff. This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer-seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear. Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will, or your mere own. All these are portable, with other graces weighted. Malcolm. But I have none. The keen becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting in many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproot the universal peace, confound all unity on earth. Macduff. Oh, Scotland, Scotland, Malcolm says, if such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken. So they're essentially pledging allegiance to Scotland. They're like trying to think of, they're complaining about how Macbeth has taken it over. They're complaining about it. They're saying, you know, Scotland is doomed, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Macduff. Fit to govern? No, not to live. O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant, bloody sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed, and does blasphemy to his breed? The royal father was a most sainted king, the queen that bore thee oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well, these evils thou repeatest upon thyself hath banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hope ends here. I just realized Malcolm is the son of Duncan. I completely forgot who Malcolm was. I thought it was a Thane, and I just realized now. No, okay, so Macduff is like, you should claim what is rightfully yours, Malcolm. You are the king of Scotland. This should not be Macbeth's. So you should go and you should challenge him, and you should take back what is yours. Every monarch that has ruled over Scotland thus far has been a right and just king who has suffered and done everything that he could for his country. And you clearly feel the same way, and you should overtake this dude who just is murdering everyone in a passion for power, essentially. And Malcolm says, Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over credulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself, what I am truly is thine, and my poor country's to command, whither indeed before thy here approach, old seaward. Then 10,000 warlike men already at a point, with settling force, now will together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent? Macduff. Such welcome and unwelcome things at once, 'tis hard to reconcile. And then a doctor comes in. He's like, bah, 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 I'm a doctor. I don't know what doctors do. I'm not a doctor. I didn't study. I know a little bit about biology, but that's about as close as I can get to knowing anything about being a doctor. I've been to the doctor before, but it's just awkward. I don't know. I don't like going to the doctor, but I have to go. And honestly, going to the doctor in Korea is like one of the most awkward things ever, but we can talk about that later. So anyway, Malcolm goes, well, more anon. Comes the king forth, I pray you? And the doctor says, aye, sir, there are a crew of wretched souls that stay his cure. Their malady convinces the great essay of art, but at his touch such sanctity hath heaven given his hand. They presently amend. So, Macbeth is in England, guys. What? I'm pretty sure, right? Macbeth is in England? Macbeth is in England, I'm pretty sure. I think so. Yeah, so I think Lady Macbeth is still in Scotland, but Macbeth is here, and he's got like a whole bunch of bros with him, And Malcolm says, thank you. I thank you, doctor. What kind of doctor just comes in and is like, hey, Macbeth showed up, just so you know. Like, why isn't there a servant or a messenger who's doing this? Anyway, Malcolm says, oh, Macduff says, what's the disease he means? Malcolm says, 'tis called the evil. Wow, how original, Shakespeare. You couldn't have come up with like a cool word that means evil. Let's see, let's look up some good synonyms for evil. Evil synonyms. Oh, the pestiferous. They call it the pestiferous. They call it the wretched. They call it the vile. They call it the heinous. Ooh, they call it the Mephistophelian. Ooh, Mephistophelian. I like that. Wow. They call it the infernal. They call it the heinous, the grievous, the flagitious, the diabolical, the demonic, corruptive, atrocious. There are so many good words. Devilish. Yeah, exactly, Lorenzo. Ah, they couldn't have called it anything like this. The malign, the injurious, the malefic. Come on. You're a word guy, Shakespeare. You even invented words. You called it the evil? I'm sorry, I really like Mephistophelian. I think it sounds so cool. They call it the Mephistophelian. A miraculous work. I'm calling it that because honestly, the evil is so lame. A most miraculous work in this good king, which often seen in my here remain in England, I have seen him do. How he solicits heaven, he himself knows. But strangely visited people, all swollen and ulcerous, pitiful to the eye, the mere despair of surgery he cures, hanging a golden stamp about their necks, put on with holy prayers, and 'tis spoken to the succeeding royalty he leaves the healing benediction. With this strange virtue he hath a heavenly gift of prophecy, and sundry blessings hang about his throne that speak him full of grace. Oh, okay, so Malcolm is saying that this, I'm going to call the next person that wrongs me Mephistophelian. Yes! I know. They will definitely walk away feeling really, awkward, but at the same time, you will definitely win that argument, Lorenzo. But anyway, I think Malcolm is calling this, this doctor, like, a witch doctor or whatever. Or, I don't know. He's talking about like these people who come in and they're like disfigured, whatever, to talk to the king, and this man will heal them of their ailments. But I'm guessing that the thing that has entered them is the evil or the Mephistophelian. Anyway, Macduff says, "See who comes here," and Ross comes in. Ooh, some stuff is about to go down. And Malcolm says, "My countryman," but yet I know him not. And Macduff says, "My ever-gentle cousin, welcome hither." So wait, is Ross Macduff's cousin or Lady Macduff's cousin? Does that mean Lady Macduff and Macduff are cousins? I'm so confused. Anyway, Malcolm, I know him now. Good God, betimes remove the means that make us strangers. And Ross says, "Sir, amen." And Macduff says, "Stand Scotland where it did." Oh, they don't know. They don't know that Lady Macduff done died. Okay, and Ross is about to tell them. Ross, "Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself, I cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing, but who knows nothing, is once seen to smile, where sighs and grows and shrink, that rend the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy, the dead man's knell is there scarce asked, for who? And good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying, or ere they sicken." So Ross is just like, Scotland's a mess, bro. People are dying everywhere. There's illness everywhere. People are just in not a good place right now. Macduff says, "Oh, relation, too nice and yet too true." So Macduff is like, I like to hear that it's in ruin because it means that Macbeth is doing a shitty job. But at the same time, I don't like to hear that because it's Scotland. And I love Scotland. Malcolm says, what's the newest grief? And Ross says, that's an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one. And Macduff says, how does my wife? And Ross says, why, well, Ross doesn't know either. What? Ross doesn't know either. Ross doesn't know that everyone is dead. And then Macduff says, how are all my children? And Ross says, well, too. Ross left right before they were murdered. Like, to be fair, he left right before they were murdered. I didn't know he was going to go all the way to England, because he said that he would check in with Lady Macduff and the children often, so that, to make sure that they were okay. And so Macduff says the tyrant had not battered at their place. And Ross says, no, they were well at peace when I did leave them. Yeah, bro, everything's great. It's like the dog with the fire. And it's like, I'm fine. You know what I mean? It's that. Except Ross doesn't know that there's a fire. And he's literally just like, yeah, it's chill. We're chilling. Macduff says, oh, be not a miser of your speech. How goes it? And Ross says, this is fine. Ross says, when I came hither to transport the tidings which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows that were out, which was of my belief witness the rather for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. And then Malcolm, now this is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses. Malcolm says, be it their comfort we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good seaward? And 10,000 men, an older and a better soldier none than Christendom gives out. So England is actually lending dudes out to help Malcolm to fight for his country again. And Ross says, would I could answer this comfort with the like, but I have words that would be howled out in the desert air, where hearing should not latch them. And Macduff says, what concern they? The general cause, or is a fee grief due to some single breast? And Ross says, no mind that's honest, but in shares come some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone. And Macduff says, if it be mine, keep it not from me, quickly let me have it. And Ross is like, I have some tea though, can you handle it? Lending dudes out, Lamau, that's one way to put it. I know that's one way to put it. I just couldn't think of the word. So they are deploying men to be soldiers for Malcolm. I just said lending dudes out because that's what I thought of immediately. Anyway, okay, so Ross is like, I got tea if you can handle it, Macduff. And Macduff is like, tell me. And Ross says, let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard. So Ross is like, look, don't shoot the messenger, man. I'm just saying what I've been told. And Macduff is like, I guess at it. So he's like, okay, whatever. And Ross says, what the fuck, Ross? Ross says, your castle is surprised, your wife and babies savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner were on the quarry of this Merthyr deer to add the death of you. What the fuck, Ross? Ross literally lied to Macduff to his face and was just like, Macduff, yeah, everybody's chilling. Everything is fine. And I was like, but I do have to tell you something. You just got punked. Everyone's fucking dead. And Malcolm says, merciful heaven, to Macduff. What man, never pull your hat upon your brows. Give sorrow words, the grief that does not speak, whispers the o'er-fraught heart and bids to break. I know, what a piece of trash. Oh my god. That's amazing though. Like Ross comes in, yeah, we're chilling, everybody's great. Yeah, the party was awesome, except for the fact that everyone died. Did I forget that part? Oh, you asked me specifically if they were okay? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. They all died. And Macduff says, my children too. And Ross says, wife, children, servants, all that could be found. Macduff said, and I must be from thence. My wife killed too. And Ross said, yeah, bro, I said that. I've said. And Malcolm said, be comforted. Let's make us medicines in our great revenge to cure this deadly grief. And Macduff says to Ross, he has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, Hellkite, all. What? All my pretty chickens in their dam, all at one foul swoop. Malcolm said, dispute it like a man. Macduff, I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine. Fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now. So Macduff is just like, hold on, let me grieve for a second. But other than the death, everyone's great. Right, exactly, Lorenzo. I know. Your kids are dead, your wife is dead, your servants are dead. Literally everyone who has ever lived in your house is dead. Everything's great. The cleaning and the chores got done. But I feel bad for Macduff a little bit because everyone's just like, yeah, let's go kill Macbeth and blah, blah, blah. Let's just go, like, end his reign. And Macduff is just trying to grieve for a second and, like, collect his thoughts. He's just like, bro, I just got told that my family is dead. Can we take a second and just, like, process this? And essentially Malcolm's like, nah, man, we gotta go. We got all of these men. We got these dudes for, like, an hour. We gotta go, you know. So Malcolm says, be this whetstone of your sword, let grief convert to anger, blunt not the heart, enrage it. So Malcolm's just like, look, don't grieve, don't cry. Let this fuel your anger, let this get you upset and make you just take it out on Macbeth and murder him, essentially. F's in the chat for Macduff. F's in the chat. Darth Vader energy for real. Macduff. Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes and braggart with my tongue, but gentle heavens, cut short all intermission. Front to front bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's length set him. If he scape, heaven forgive him too. And Malcolm says, this time goes manly. Come, go we to the king, our power is ready, our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may, the night is long that never finds the day. And then they exude! And that's the end of Act 4. Hell yeah! Ba 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 ba. So, they're on their way back to Macbeth. They're on their way back to Scotland. They're about to go whoop his ass. I'm hyped to see this. I'm hyped to see Macduff. Why are there so many goddamn Micks? Macbeth, Macduff, Lady Macduff, Lady Macbeth, Baby Macduff. Everyone. Anyway. So, we're going into Act 5. We're going to wrap this puppy up in a nice little bow. Woof woof. Okay. Good night, Lorenzo. That's a good stopping point. All right, have a good night. Act 5, Scene 1. A room in Macbeth's castle at Dunsinane. Enter a doctor of medicine. Don't woof woof me, Lorenzo. I can't handle it, man. Enter a doctor of medicine and an attendant gentlewoman. Doctor. I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked? So, I'm guessing the doctor is talking about Lady Macbeth. So the doctor and the attendant are talking in the Macbeth castle. And the attendant says, "Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep." Oh, so Lady Macbeth is sleepwalking and doing random shit in her sleep. And doctor said, "A great perturbation in nature, to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. And this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?" And the attendant says, "That, sir, which I will not report after her." And the doctor says, "You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should." Because the doctor's really concerned. Reading and writing in sleep. I know, right? Bro, imagine, like, if you were a sleepwalker and the one thing you wanted to do while you were unconscious is just read and write. Taking notes, bro. That's all you want to do. I can't imagine it. Anyway, I mean, I do read on a stream, so maybe never mind. I guess I kind of fall into that category of nerd. Okay, I shouldn't speak about this. Attendant, neither you nor anyone having no witness to confirm my speech. And Lady Macbeth comes in, holding a taper. And the attendant says, "Lo, you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, stand close." So Lady Macbeth is asleep, and she's walking in on them having a conversation. And the doctor says, "How came she by that light?" I guess she's holding a candle. And the attendant says, "Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command." So she wants to have a light by her even when she's sleeping. And Lady Macbeth sets the taper, so she sets the light down. And the doctor says, "You see, her eyes are open." And the attendant says, "Aye, but their sense are shut." So just because she has her eyes open doesn't mean she's actually mentally awake. She's still unconscious. She's still sleeping. And the doctor says, "What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands." The attendant says, "It is an accustomed action with her, to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour." So she'll just sit there and be like this. Haha, washing my hands. So she must be a clean freak as well. Maybe a little bit. Lady Macbeth says, "Ah, yet here's a spot." And the doctor says, "Hark! She speaks." It's just like Romeo and Juliet, where he's like, "Aye, she speaks," while she's sitting by herself on the balcony. "I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly." And Lady Macbeth says, "Out, damned spot! Out, I say! 1, 2, why, then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie! A soldier and a feared? What need we fear, who knows it, when none can call our power to account? Yet who would have the thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?" So, Lady Macbeth, I am guessing here, she is reliving the first murder of Duncan, because she was in charge of cleaning the clothes of Macbeth after Macbeth murdered everyone, and making sure the daggers were in place and things like that. So I'm guessing she's going through the motions of cleaning the clothes, and she's just like, the blood stains won't come out. And the doctor said, "Do you mark that?" And Lady Macbeth says, "The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What, will these hands never be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all with this starting." And the doctor says, Go to. You have known what you should not." And the attendant says, "She has spoke what she should not. I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known." And Lady Macbeth says, "Here's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand." And doctor says, "What a sigh is there. The heart is sorely charged." So she's just like, "Look, my hands are stained with blood. I have murdered." Lady Macbeth, Lady Macomplice, yeah. Do you need an accomplice? A Mick-complice? Only at McDonald's. Attendant, "I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body. And doctor says, well, 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 attendant, pray God it be, sir. And the doctor says, this disease is beyond my practice, yet I have not known those which have walked in their sleep who have died holily in their beds. So the doctor was called so that he could help Lady Macbeth with her sleepwalking and with the way she acts in the middle of sleep. And he's essentially saying, like, she might be possessed. I haven't known anyone who has died a peaceful and holy death who also walked in their sleep, essentially. And Lady Macbeth says, wash your hands. Put on your nightgown, look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried, he cannot come out on his grave. And the doctor says, even so. Lady Macbeth says, to bed, there's knocking at the gate. Come, 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 give me your hand, what's done cannot be undone. To bed, to bed, to bed. So I'm guessing Lady Macbeth, in her unconscious state, is thinking the doctor is Macbeth. And she's trying to convince him. She's just like, look, hey, what's done is done, bro. Go to bed. Just go to sleep. Wash your hands. Let's just go. And the doctor says, will she go to bed now? And the attendant says, directly. And the doctor says, foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their death pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician, God. God forgive us all, look after her, remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So good night. My mind she has mated and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak. And the attendant says, good night, good doctor. So the doctor is like, this is beyond healing. I don't know what's going on, but honestly, I think she's going mad. She is going crazy. Oh, I love a good crazy. In a play. In fiction. Crazy is great on paper. Maybe not so much in reality all the time. But anyway. So, we're going into scene 2. And it's the countryside near Dunsinane. And there are a bunch of soldiers marching, and we have Menteith, Caithness, Angus, Lennox, and the soldiers who are bearing colors with a drummer. And I'm guessing all of these dudes are Thanes, because guess what? I don't know any of them, man. I know literally zilch. Okay? Yeah. All of them, let me tell you. They're Scottish Thanes, which means they are landowners, and the drumming ceases. So they're drumming. I don't know why he has a cymbal. He shouldn't have a cymbal. I don't know who gave the drummer a cymbal, but whoever gave the drummer a cymbal should be fired. And then they halt. And the drumming halts. And then Menteith says, the English power is near, led on by Malcolm. His uncle Seward and the good Macduff, revenges burn in them for their dear causes would to the bleeding, and the grim alarm excite the murderfied men. So I'm guessing these dudes are going to protect Macbeth. Because I don't think they understand what's happening. I don't think they know what Macbeth has done. And Angus says, near Burnham Wood shall we well meet them. That way are they coming. And Caithness says, who knows if Donalbain be with his brother? And Lennox says, for certain, sure. He is not. I have a file on all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many unroughed youths, that even now protest their first of manhood. And Menteith says, what does the tyrant? And Caithness says, great Dunsinane. Dunsinane? He strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad, others, the Leicester, hate him. Do call it valiant fury, but for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule. And Angus says, now does he feel his secret mirthers sticking on his hands. Now minutely revolts upbraid his faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief. And Menteith says, who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there? And Caithness says, well, march on, march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of the sickly weal, and with him pour we in our country's purge. each drop of us. And Lennox says, or so much as it needs to do the sovereign's flower, and drown the weeds, make we our march towards Burnham. And they all exude marching. So, okay, they basically are just gossiping about what's about to happen. So, okay, if I understand this correctly, these dudes are meeting up with Macduff's crew because they want to fight against Macbeth. And they are not cool with what has been happening for however long it's been happening. And they're just like, this is the plan. And they're like, is this the plan? And they're like, yes, this is what's happening. And this is who's going to be there and blah, 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 blah. It's really just filler. Anyway, so scene 3 happens. It's going to happen right now. And it's inside Macbeth's castle at Dunsinane. And Macbeth is there, and the doctor is there, and the attendants are there. Okay, I'm guessing that they're about to gossip about Lady Macbeth. Because, let's be real here, she is off the rails. Off the rails. So, Macbeth says, bring me no reports. Let them fly all. Till Burnham would return to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortem consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth, no man that's born of woman shall ever have power upon thee. Then fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by, and the heart I bear, shall never sag with doubt, nor shake with fear. And then a servant comes in. The devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon, where goest thou, that goose look? So, if you remember, when Macbeth saw the witches in the last act, he was asking a whole bunch of spirits about what was to come. And the spirits told him, basically, they were like, you will not be defeated by anyone who is born of a woman. Which means literally anyone, because everyone is born of a woman. So Macbeth is just like, okay, we all know Malcolm was also born of a woman. He's a person. It's how it works. So there's no way that he's going to defeat me. And the servant says, there is 10,000. And Macbeth says, geese, villain? And servant says, soldiers, sir. So he was not expecting these kind of numbers. Macbeth says, go prick thy face and overread thy fear. Thou lily-livered boy, what soldier's patch? Death of thy soul. Those linen cheeks of thine are counselors to fear. What soldier's white face? And the servant says, the English force, so please you. And Macbeth says, take thy face hence. So Macbeth is just like, wait, hold on a second. England is here? The English force is here. To fight me? Really? This really seems like something that they would be concerned about? And the servant leaves. He says, Satan! But it's not Satan as in like Satan. It's like Satan as in, I'll call him Seaton, because otherwise I feel like it's going to be confusing and out of context. Seaton! And aside he says, I am sick at heart when I behold, Seaton, I say! This push will cheer me ever, or deceit me now. I have lived long enough, my way of life is fallen into the sear, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age is honor, love, obedience, troops of fears, of friends. I must not look to have, but in their stead curses not loud but deep, mouth honor, breath, which the poor heart would fain deny, and dare not. Seaton! And Seaton comes in, and he says, what's your gracious pleasure? And Macbeth says, what news more? And Seaton says, all is confirmed, my lord, which was reported. And Macbeth says, I'll fight, till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor. And Seaton says, oh, it does not need it yet. And Macbeth says, I'll put it on. Send out more horses, scur the country road, hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine honor, mine armor. And Seaton goes across to fetch it. And he says, how does your patient, doctor? So Macbeth is like, look, I'm a fight. I'm going to fight in this war. I'm going to stand up for myself. I don't want other people just protecting me. I want to fight in this too. Because guess what? No one can defeat me, bro. I am untouchable. Okay, Macbeth. And the doctor says, not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick coming fancies that keep her from her rest. And Macbeth says, cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of the perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart. So Macbeth is just like, why can't you cure Lady Macbeth? Why can't you make her sleep and awake and make her my wife again? And the doctor says, therein the patient must minister to himself. The doctor's like, I can't force her to eat or drink anything. I can't make her do anything, because if she doesn't want to take it, she doesn't want to do it. But at the same time, like, I can't literally force it in her mouth. And Seaton returns with the armor, and the attendant prepares to equip Macbeth with it. Macbeth equips armor. And Macbeth says, throw physic to the dogs. Oh, none of it. Come, put mine armor on. Give me my staff. Seaton, send out. Doctor, the thanes fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health. I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull it off, I say. What rhubarb senna or what purgative drug would scour these English hens? Hearest thou of them? Ay, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something. That's what the doctor said. Okay, so yeah, Macbeth is just like making orders. He's like, you go do this, you go do this, you go do this. And Macbeth says, bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane. And doctor says, aside, were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here. Doctor's like, I don't understand why anybody would fight for this. Honestly, it doesn't seem worth it. It doesn't seem worth it. It doesn't seem worth it. So, okay. They all exit, and it starts scene 4. I like it. I like how the side characters are like a little bit sassy, to be honest. Like the doctor's just like, I don't really get why people are fighting for this, to be honest. And the things are just like, I don't really know what's going on, to be, period. And the attendants are just like, dude, I don't understand why you want to fight, man. Like, your soldiers got this under control. I don't know why you're trying to... And they're all just like, dude, I wouldn't do that if I were you. But, like, if you want to die, that's cool, man. It's just very funny to me. Okay, so scene 4 starts in the countryside near Burnham. And all of these dudes enter, and they are marching like nobody's business. We got Malcolm, Seward, Macduff, Seward's son, Menteith, Caithness, Angus, Lennox, Ross, and the soldiers. With some of them bearing colors. And we have the drummer who's just like, and still has the cymbal, and he's still and then the drumming ceases and they halt. Malcolm begins saying, cousins, I hope the days are near at hand that chambers will be safe. Back in those times, violence was second only to breathing. Yes, maybe. Yeah, maybe even breathing was second to violence. It seems like barbarous times, to be honest. Like, we definitely aren't barbaric like we used to be hundreds of years ago. I feel like it would be really interesting to observe, but at the same time, I don't know, man. It's an interesting concept to me, how everything used to be just solved with violence, and now we're like, let's talk it out, guys. Hold on. Let's be logical with this. Which, I mean, let's be honest here for a second. I would much rather talk it out than have somebody like punch me in the face. So, I don't know, but I think it's interesting. I think it would be interesting to observe. And Menteith says, we doubt it nothing. And Seward says, what wood is this before us? And Menteith says, the wood of Burnham. And Malcolm says, let every soldier hew him down a bough, and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host, and make discovery err in report of us. And the soldier says, it shall be done. Seward, we learn no other, but the confident tyrant still keeps still in Dunsinane, and will endure our setting down before it. And Malcolm says, "'Tis his main hope, for where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt. And none serve with him but constrained things whose hearts are absent too." Macduff says, "Let our just censures attend to the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership." And Seward says, "The time approaches, that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have, and what we owe. Thoughts speculative their insurer hopes relate, but certain issues strokes must arbitrate, towards which advance the war." So they're all just like giving their little speech. They're all just like, "This is what I have to say." And then the other guy's like, "And also," inspiring quote that I read in a book one time. And then one's like, "And also me too. One more thing to add. We will fight well." And the other one's like, "Yes, and also we will fight very well and strong." And the other one's like, "But also fight efficiently." And then they all exit and they're marching. I like how they just all have something to say about it. And then in scene 5, and they're inside. We're inside Macbeth's castle at Dunsinane, for glory and blood, but also for justice, and for the families, but also for the memes, but also. So there's Macbeth, Seaton, and the soldiers. Seaton is not to be confused with Seward. Anyway, so Macbeth, Seaton, and soldiers are there. And there is also a drummer inside of the castle. I'm guessing they're just in the castle walls. I'm guessing they're not inside. Oh, no, they are inside. Just kidding. Macbeth, "Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, 'They come!' Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up." Ague eat them up. "Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home." And then women within cry out. I'm guessing they're saying, "They come!" And Seaton cries, It is the cry of women, my good lord." And then he exits. She's like, "Oh, I heard ladies. I gotta go save the ladies. 'Tis the maiden." Macbeth says, "I have almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were in it. I have supped full with horror's direness, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me." And then Seaton comes in. "Wherefore was that cry?" And Seaton says, "The queen, my lord, is dead." What? I'm sorry, that's like the biggest fucking plot twist ever. I was not expecting that at all. What? Lady Macbeth died? Holy shit. Macbeth. She should have died hereafter. What? There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way of dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. What a savage. He's just like, she died? Whatever. She's but a flame on a candle. She's out now, I guess. Whatever. Is he that bloodthirsty and power hungry? Like, the fact that he doesn't even really care about his wife anymore. Damn, loyalty is hard to find. Like, not even Macbeth can respect his own wife. who like really stood by his side the whole time and helped him commit murder. Anyway, a messenger comes in, and Macbeth says, "Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly." And the messenger says, "Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it." And Macbeth says, "Well, say, sir." And the messenger says, "As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move." And Macbeth says, "Liar and slave!" And the messenger said, "Let me endure your wrath, if it be not so. Within the 3 mile you see it coming, I say a moving grove." So the messenger is like, "Look, I saw some stuff happening in the forest, dude. And I think I saw moving trees." I'm thinking that's what he's saying, but also he could just be saying, there are some soldiers in there, bro. Macbeth says, "If thou speakest false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive, till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much." And then he says to an aside, "I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane, and now a wood come towards Dunsinane? Arm, and out. If this which he avouches does appear, there is nor flying hence nor tarrying here. I begin to be aweary of the sun, and wish the estate, the world, were now undone. Ring the alarm bell, blow wind, come rack, at least we'll die with harness on our back." And then the alarm goes off, meow, 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 bum, 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 brrr, and then they exeunt. So Macbeth is starting to get a little nervous. He's like, "Oh, you saw troops in the forest? But what? Why are there so many people here to kill me? I don't, me? What did I do? I don't get it." Even though he's murdered all these people. Okay. So then there's scene 6. And we are near Macbeth's castle. And we got Malcolm, Seward, Macduff, and their army, including a drummer. And now we have trumpeters. And the soldiers are wearing their colors, and most hold bows. I'm guessing they're holding onto trees, or maybe they're in the trees. Oh, maybe that's what the messenger was trying to say, is that like the guys are in the trees so that they can't necessarily see them all that much. And Malcolm says, "Now near enough. Your levy screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we shall take upons what else remains to do according to our order." And Seward says, "Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight, let us be beaten if we cannot fight." Macduff says, "Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath, these clamorous harbingers of blood and death." And then the alarm goes off. Meow, meow, bum, 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 brrr, and then they exit. Okay, so that's happening exactly at the same time as Macbeth is talking to the messenger guy. Okay. And then it's scene 7. And it's another part of the battlefield. Can you imagine owning a property that just had a built-in battlefield? I think that really says something about the time that they were living in, where it's just like, yeah, I have a battlefield in my castle. Of course. Are you ready to battle? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like that seems a little excessive. Just saying. Right, and then you just pull out your blue-eye white dragon, and you're like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot my Exodia at home. Shit." No! Imagine owning a castle. I know. Can you imagine owning a castle? That would be sick as hell. I would. I'm a castle kind of person. I'm not gonna lie. I really like castles. I really like going to Europe. So I've been to Europe a couple of times, and every time I go, I'm always like, I gotta go to the castles. I love the castles. They're so pretty. What's my favorite castle? I don't know. I've maybe been to 4 or 5. There was one I went to in Segovia, Spain. I lived in Spain for a little bit, and there's one in Segovia that's the inspiration for the Sleeping Beauty castle. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Ghent. Oh, you've been to a cool one in Ghent? That's cool. No, I like castles. I like how castles look. They're just very beautiful. And then on the inside, you just have these really grand, big spaces. I like big, open rooms. But the thing is, I don't like open concept houses. They're just not my thing, where it's just like everything is connected. No, I don't want that. I want rooms that are made for specific things, and then like a lot of rooms. It's like a ballroom, a bunch of bedrooms, a living room, a sitting room, a drawing room, things like that. That's what I like about castles, is like every single room has a specific purpose, and I don't think it's excessive at all. I think it's awesome, and like if I had that many rooms, I would totally take advantage of it. You know, there are people who, you know, they want to have like a really small place and they're minimalistic, and that's great. But me, honestly, I'm such a spread out person that I want to be able to have like everything in a specific pocket. That would be so cool to have that. And to imagine if you have a ballroom, but you also have a giant dining room where you have like a long ass table. I just remember, and this is a terrible thing, because I think about castles a lot, but I remember I thought about getting like a really long dining room table for a castle if I ever had a castle. And I saw the redwoods for the first time whenever I went to San Francisco. And I saw the redwoods and I was like, wow, that would make the perfect one piece of wood dining room table. Holy shit, that would be amazing. Anyway, okay. Irrelevant. It doesn't matter. So, anyway, what I was saying, they have their own battlefield. I'd rather have a garden, but whatever. You know, it's fine. Vegetables, not for everyone. So, we're in the battlefield, and Macbeth comes in, and he says, "They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear or none." So, I don't think they literally tied him to a stake. They're just saying, like, he feels really restricted based upon other things. It is not a phone. It's a doorbell. Oh, man, the amount of times I've had to talk about my doorbell. It's not a phone. Direct line to the yes, that is exactly what it is. It is a direct line to every single diplomat around the globe. I just have to press a specific button, and that's the country that it goes to. Exactly. Okay, so young Seaward comes in, and young Seaward says, "What is thy name?" And Macbeth says, "Thou'lt be afraid to hear it." And young Seaward says, "No, though thou callest thyself a hotter name than any is in hell." Macbeth says, "My name is Macbeth." And young Seaward says, "The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear." Macbeth says, "No, nor more fearful." And young Seaward says, "Thou liest, abhorred tyrant, with my sword. I'll prove the lie thou speakest." And then they fight. Oh, we have a sword fight. I'm so excited. I love when we sword fight. Okay, here we go. Ready? Ka-ching, ka-ching. Beam, 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 beam. And then Macbeth stabs young Seaward. And then he dies. This is going to be Macbeth's sword. It's decidedly so. Oh, sorry. Young Seaward is slain. Free pizza for life as long as I call with that phone. Yes. Free pizza from the president. That's right. Macbeth says, "Thou was born of woman, but swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man that's of a woman born." And then he leaves. He's like, "Ha ha, you were born of a woman. You were cursed from the beginning. You were never gonna win." Yeah, it's pretty hard to come by a presidential pizza phone, not gonna lie. It's pretty important. Quintessential to any balanced meal. And then the alarums go off, and Macduff enters. That way the noise is. Tyrant, show thy face. If thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghost will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns, whose arms are hired to bear their staves, either and thou, Macbeth, or else my sword, with an unbattered edge, I sheath again undeeded. There thou shouldst be by this great clatter. One of the greatest notes seems bruited. Let me find him, fortune, and more I beg not. And then he exits, and there are more alarums. Okay, the alarms are going nuts. It's like really intense dubstep. And Malcolm and Seward come in. Oh, so he killed Seward's son. Got it. Okay. And Seward is like, this way, my lord. The castle is gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours. And little is to do. And Malcolm says, we have met with foes that strike beside us. And Seward says, enter, sir, the castle. And they exit, and the alarm goes off. Bam, 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 brrr, bah, 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 bah. Okay, and then scene 8 starts. Oh, Patrick, I just noticed. Patrick was Patrick, sorry. Anyway, okay, scene 8. I think this is the last scene. No, it's not. We have a scene 9 as well. Okay, and then they're in another part of the battlefield. And Macbeth comes in, and he says, why should I play the Roman fool and die of mine own sword? Whilst I see lives, the gashes do better upon them. And then Macduff comes in, and he says, turn, hellhound, turn. Ooh, I'm excited to see this. Macbeth says, of all men else I have avoided thee. And get thee back, my soul is too much charged with blood of thine already. Macduff says, I have no words. My voice is in my sword, thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out. And then they fight, and there's an alarm. Beep, 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 okay, so they're sword fighting. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't need to sword fight this whole time, because they're fighting the whole time that they're arguing, and I can't multitask like that. Okay, Macbeth says, thou losest labor, and as easy mayest thou the entrenchant air, with thy keen sword impress as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born. Macduff says, to spare thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served. Tell me, Macduff, was from his mother's womb untimely ripped. And Macbeth says, accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man, and be these juggling fiends no more believed that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee. So Macbeth is like, look, Macduff, I don't want to kill you, man. And Macduff is like, you won't kill me because I'm going to kill you. I was ripped from my mother's stomach before she was ever able to give birth to me. So if anything, he wasn't born from a woman because he was C-sectioned. Essentially is what he is saying. He's saying loophole. Macduff says, oh, no. Macbeth says, I will not yield. To kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse, through Burnham Wood to come to Dunsinane, and now opposed, being of no woman born, yet I will try the last, before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay off, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, hold, enough! And they exunt fighting, and there's the alarm. And then Macbeth is slain by Macduff. So Macbeth is dead. And Macduff exits with Macbeth's body. Hell yeah! Hell yeah! So that's why the witches were just like, look, Macduff is bad news. Don't fuck with him. Don't mess with this dude. Just let him go, okay? He's not good news for you. Just don't mess with him and everything will be fine. And he poked it. He poked the cow anyway, and now he's dead. Like his wife. Scene 9 within the castle. Retreat and flourish. Enter Malcolm, Seward, Ross, thanes, and soldiers. Some bearing colors with a drummer. Malcolm says, I would the friends we miss were safe arrived. Seward, come, some must go off, and yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought. And Malcolm says, Macduff is missing in your noble son. Ross, to Seward, your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died. I know, wasn't that a good zing? I agree. And Seward said, then he is dead. Seward is just finding out that his son is dead. He hath died. And Ross says, aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end. And Seward said, had he his hurts before? And Ross says, aye, on the front. Ross, why then God's soldier be he, had I as many sons as I have heirs. I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his knell is knolled. So essentially, they're trying to, like, make Seward feel better, and Seward's just like, look, I'm glad he died at the hand of the man who killed everyone, and he died doing the thing that he was trying to do. It was a noble death. He was trying to kill the man that everyone wanted dead. And Malcolm says, he's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him. And Seward said, he's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score. And so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort. And Macduff comes in, bearing Macbeth's head on a pole. Damn, that's savage. Oh, that's so cool. Can you imagine? That's like almost as cool as Salome with John the Baptist's head on a platter. But instead it's on a pole. I wonder if that what's it called? I wonder if that inspired Shakespeare, was the idea of Salome having the head on the platter. He was like, I can't do the platter, so might as well do it on a pole. Breath the stripper. Anyway, Macduff to Malcolm. Hail, king, for so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail! Hail, King of Scotland! And all of them say, Hail, King of Scotland! And they flourish. I don't know how to flourish. So they're all being like, hey, Malcolm, the throne is rightfully yours. Succeed your father as you were supposed to. And Malcolm is about to close it out. And he says, we shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves, and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen, henceforth be earls and first that ever Scotland in such an honour named. What's more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher, and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought by self and violent hands, took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us by the grace of grace, we will perform in measured time and place. Those thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone. And then they flourish. And then they all exude. And that's the end! Hell yeah! Dang, the platter's been done. What else can you display a decapitated head on for real? I know. Oh. Okay, so yeah, it ended essentially with him being like, look, thank you for your time and your patience and your dedication to my cause. I won't waste any more of your time. And I appreciate the honor that you have bestowed upon me. It means a lot. So, that was Macbeth. That was sick. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that we finally got through that. It was really good. I really liked it. I liked it a lot better. Well, I wouldn't call myself a drama person because I don't like dramas. I like dramas and I like comedies. I think they're different, but I don't think of either as better or worse. I mean, I like the fact that dramas explore deeper emotions and things like that, but comedy also serves an important purpose. Old books are crazy and fascinating. I agree. I love old books. It's amazing how much you can relate to something other than, decapitation and whatever. But it's amazing how much you can relate to emotions that people feel hundreds and hundreds of years ago, if not thousands of years ago, even though it seems like a lot of it would be irrelevant. Am I finished? I'm finished reading. I'm almost finished streaming, but not quite. I'm going over it. I'm unwinding. I'm doing the cool down. It's like when you work out. I do a warm up, I read the book, and then I cool down from the book. But, I mean, essentially, it's amazing how even thousands of years later you can relate to these characters that thank you, Patrick. I know it was a journey, but it's amazing how you can relate to these people and these authors and these emotions that people feel even though they're long gone and they're dead. It's just like people from thousands of years ago, even though they were experiencing a completely different life in a completely different culture, still felt some of the similar things that we feel today. So I think that's really cool, and I think it's neat how we can read these stories and hear these tales in that kind of way. So cool. Thank you for coming to stream, and thank you for listening to Macbeth. Did you miss any of Macbeth? Well, it's on my YouTube channel if you would like to catch up. Did you like the stream and maybe want to catch the next one? Feel free to follow. If not, that's fine too. I don't really care. That's fine. But if you enjoyed yourself, why not stick around? That's totally fine. Next, I'm thinking I'm going to read Twelfth Night. I'm trying to get through some of the plays that I have right now. I don't have a lot of books here. So, I mean, it's really hard to get English books. I live in Korea right now. It's really hard to get English books in Korea. So I have to order them kind of in bulk and get them all shipped here at the same time. So I'm going through the plays that I have now. I have like a whole bunch of Shakespeare. But I'm thinking in the next haul, I'll probably do like a couple Shakespeare, but also a couple other things. Because I like the plays. I like doing the plays and having the characters and being able to act it out a little bit. But I also like, breaking it up and not always doing the same author. I think that's important. So, yeah. Thank you for coming in. I hope you have a good night. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good whatever time it is, wherever you are. And I'll see you next time. I only do hard copies. I really only like hardback. Well, not hardback books. I like paperback too, obviously. But yeah, I only do hard copies because I don't like to read off the screens that much. But also, I don't think it's as dynamic to watch too. Because I mean, if I have a physical book, people can tell that I'm reading. So, yeah. Anyway, okay. Thank you so much. Have a great evening or day, and I will see you, I think, on Monday. Yeah, because we finished today, so I will start again on Monday, and we will start with 12th Night. So, see you later. Bye.